Hello there, I'm Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to some more speed building. And obviously we are still working on the D&D mansion. I actually have a few other smaller builds that I am working on at this point as well. So you can look forward to some of those builds coming up. I might, because currently I haven't got a chance to record Fire Emblem, which is going to be the game that replaces Breath of the Wild. So I haven't got a chance to record it, so right now it's mostly Sims content. I did have a vlog and stuff like that, but so I might actually post those while this is also going on because of just, what I have to post or not, or either I'll post extra videos of Not So Berry or the Female Gaming Challenge. I do have another one of the United updates, so maybe I'll actually put that one up as well until I get Fire Emblem up and going. So that's something to keep an eye out for if you want to see some of the other builds where they're traditionally just one video instead of multiple parts. But yeah, with this huge house, we are on the 11th part, and we're continuing on. Now, I think in the last video, I actually mentioned how this should be the last video that does not pertain the bedrooms, so this should be finishing off all the extra rooms, most of the bathrooms, because there's some bathrooms, like I had mentioned, actually attached to the bedrooms, and those few lucky characters get a chance to have their own personal bathroom, so they also will get to actually decorate said bathroom. So I've had a few that have technically picked the bathroom rooms, and I've got to decorate those. I can't remember who all it is. I think it's Nita that got a bathroom room. Serena, I think, got a bathroom room. I feel like I did at least one other person who's got a bathroom room. Because like I mentioned in the last one, I rolled dice because I'm trying to keep with this D&D theme, since the characters who are going to be living in this house and staying in this house are my D&D creations tried to be turned into Sims. So I rolled dice for everyone, tried to, and see, then went from there on who got to pick their rooms first. Nita got an automatic slide, so she didn't have to roll any dice, but everyone else did. And anyone who tied for a certain number, those particular characters had to roll a second time to see which order they were individually. But obviously, the first roll still trumped the other one. So, one character who got, rolled a 15, they were before any of the characters who rolled 14s. But, there might have been 3 characters that rolled 14s. Those 3 had to roll again just to figure out within those 3 who was the first one to go out of the 14s. But anyway, so keeping that in mind, there are some characters that either won't have a need for a bathroom, or having a bigger room or a room that has a location to something else might be more important to them. So, I know I've done Forsythia's room already. I made sure she had one of the upper floors that had windows to it, because she's gonna want plants and stuff in her room. And Drax and Itzel, I've done their rooms. They are technically undead, so they're not gonna have to use the bathroom, so they don't care about the bathroom rooms. So, So that's sort of some of the reasoning that I do different rooms. I'll probably talk about them once I get to, the actual bedrooms. And I did actually look ahead a little bit with this one because the way I'm editing this is basically I'm putting all the different recordings into, every once in a while I put all the recordings that I have up to that certain point and from the last point that I edited into one file. I'll edit through those files, edit any dead spaces out and stuff like that. Go ahead and speed it up some, and then proceed to save that as one video, and then bring it back in and chop it up so that I can do the voiceovers for them, and I can figure out exactly where the 25 to 35 mark. That's I'm trying not to go too much into the 30s with these videos. This video isn't particularly, because otherwise I would have left the stopping point for the next video very awkwardly, because the next video actually will finally start showing the bedrooms. It's only going to be one. Nita's room is going to be at the end of the next video, so I didn't want to cut her room, cut the video in the middle of designing her room. So that's why I sort of made this one a little bit longer. The next one's probably going to be closer to the 30s as well. But I attached a bathroom to this video that I originally was going to put in the next video, but it's now in this video because, you know, there's bathrooms galore in this build. But at the beginning of this video, I mentioned in last video that, and I also mentioned in a previous video when I was designing the karaoke thing, that I forgot to decorate, like, the shelving and stuff like that and put, like, things on surfaces to give it a little decorative touch. So I went back and did that, and now we're working on the balconies. So there are 2 balconies. Whenever I do, like, the whole roll to see what rooms they have access to, the balconies are going to count as 1. So there is 2 separate balconies, but they're going to count as 1. So if they get the roll that allows them to access the balcony, they get to access both balconies, is how I'm sort of doing it. And with this first balcony, it has, like, some of the more active, like, working activity spaces. So there's the woodworking bench. Couldn't remember it for some reason. I think there's also an archaeology table. There should be a florist or either a candle making station, one or both. I think I put both of them out here. I think all of these things are out here on this one balcony. So it's like another activity hobby space sort of going on, but it's more of like the hands-on type situation, if that sort of makes sense. There is going to be like seating and stuff also out here. This house is going to have a lot of Sims in it. There's also potentially going to be Sims that get invited over. So seating is key in this house, and I've probably mentioned it several times at this point about how seating is like one of my big priorities, just because there is going to be so many Sims. And sometimes you don't know if Sims are going to sit down and talk or stand and talk, or some of them sitting and some of them standing. You just really don't know. You don't know with Sims. Like, but yeah, I did have space for them working. I do know when it comes to like the woodworking bench, Sims autonomously use that one quite frequently. Some of the others, I don't think they do. Partially, well, I mean, technically you gotta pick what you want them to build on the woodworking bench, so why don't they do that for the... Anyway. Sims are weird. But yeah, so this one probably will be a little bit higher up, just partially just because of the woodworking bench alone, because I know that they're actually gonna use that on their own autonomously. So yeah, I actually have a woodworking bench in my female gaming legacy house. I had to think. My brain is not working. This is morning time, and most of my shifts now are at least always starting before or by 12. But a lot of them have been like 10. I've had a few shifts that have been 8 o'clock. And to some people that might not seem it much, but I have a 40-minute drive to get to my work, so I have to account for that when I get up. So now I just... a lot of times just naturally get up at least in between 7, well, it's like 6:30 to 8:30, depending. So 8:30 being the latest I get up, and my brain's, even though it knows, like, we're doing this because we go to work early now, so like there's no point in not trying to get up early and not get used to that, but at the same time it's like, nah, I don't want to work today. Like, it's still early in the morning. But yeah, I have the woodworking bench in my female gaming legacy challenge. I think I actually just put one in recently for Not So Berry as well, but I've had it for a while for the female gaming legacy, just because to give the little ghost gifts and things like that. That's what I was making them little woodworking bench stuff and giving them presents to try to appease them. And Julianos, which is not my female gaming, like, it's not my main sim. Velvet is the main one. But her husband, Julianos, loves the woodworking bench. He goes on it all the time. So I'm sure there's going to be a few Sims in this house that are going to try to use the woodworking bench several times. But yeah, I do have a floral station, so I was actually putting a few florals there, putting a few candles near the candle making, just to try to make it look like, you know, it's already had some use when it comes to being worked on and stuff. I didn't put anything with the archaeology or the woodworking tables because I could have technically used the cheat show hidden objects, but I didn't think about it, so I let it be. But honestly, again, with how they sort of treat the woodworking bench, probably not gonna take a whole lot of time to build up some sculptures and stuff like that. So we won't worry about it. But with over in this balcony, I think this balcony, like, I did add another artist, like, more artist easels and stuff over here. But I think this one definitely is a little bit more relaxed and chill. There is, like, these little food things and the fondue things, because why not? But there is more seating, and I think at first I was looking for more stuff to, like, activity-wise put out here. But I don't remember putting anything out here. There's the bonsai tree, so I guess, you know, if Sims randomly want to just snip, snip, snip at the bonsai tree, they could. I feel like I used to have Sims autonomously use that, but I don't really think I have. Well, I don't know if I put bonsai trees in my houses too often, so maybe they still would if I actually put them in there. But yeah, so there's some planters. So basically with this one, like, I was trying to find things that I wanted to add to this particular area, just trying to figure out what in the world to give it at least some activity stuff, things like that. But this one is a little bit more chill versus the other one has a little bit more hobby, I believe. So yeah, still more seating. There is the chess table, so there is technically that, which also includes more seating. So love the seating. Got to have the seating. If there is a single sim who is standing around and acting like they don't have somewhere to sit, I will fuss at that sim because I'm gonna be like, you can find somewhere to sit. There is several chairs in most of these rooms, so you definitely should have somewhere to sit. But yeah, but I did enjoy the balconies. I do like how both of the balconies turned out. I am constantly experimenting with colors. Now, obviously, when it comes to the walls and the floors that are attached to the balcony, they are actually the same as each other, but I still wanted to go with slightly different themes for them. So, you know, I have some more darker colors, like blacks and stuff like that, with the light natural tones, and then over on the other balcony, there's some of the darker woods and adding, like, the blue rug and stuff like that. So this whole build is sort of been like, have fun, experiment around, see, like, what I can do, what new stuff I can fool with. But yeah, so now we should be heading back down to the basement. This is the farthest floor, the lowest floor, which I think is the 4th level basement. It will not let me go down any farther because I did try just out of curiosity, partially because there's a part of me that's like, I could add more Sims to this chaos because, you know, my computer won't already hate me as is. But yeah, so that is the lowest level. There is no going further than this. So we have the 2 other bigger rooms that, like, can be blocked off for my characters, potentially. This current one is the music room, so it's gonna have, like, basically all the music, like, activities they could have done. I tried to make sure to get them all in there. I think I have the violin, the guitar, the piano, the electric piano. The organ, I think I did eventually, like, include. I don't know if I included it first, but I definitely tried. And the room beside it that I just did the wallpapering to, that's going to be, like, the scientist-y room, so that's why I did, like, those more metal-looking, like, tiles, like, you know, stuff like that. But yeah, I actually have a CC piano. I think I do still use it, like, I'm experimenting. Yeah. So it actually is one of the ones that sits up against the wall. I think I've mentioned it in previous builds and stuff like that, especially, like, my normal builds that I don't use CC in. Like, I had a smaller piano when I was growing up in this house, and it was actually in a hallway. Hallways are, except for in some cases, but typically, hallways are not that big. So, you know, it fit in a hallway and you could still walk by it. So, it was one of those ones that sit up against the wall like this. This one still looks a little bit bigger than the one that I had. I think the one that we had in the house was like a particular type of piano that was meant to be smaller. You know, it didn't take up a lot of room. But I'm glad that I found a custom content piano that was one of those, because it annoys me only having the big grandiose piano that takes up so much room, because I also had a aunt. I don't know if she still has that piano because she actually moved houses, and I think either she gave that piano away or she left it in that house. I don't remember, but again, it was one of those ones that set up a little bit more closer to the wall. My grandparents had one that set up closer to the wall, but that one was huge. That one was like, even though it was up against the wall, it was bigger than like this custom content one. Not much bigger, but it was bigger. But yeah, so I've seen several pianos that were like the ones that went up on like tall on the back and went up against the wall versus those grandiose like ones that look like they need to be in a ballroom. So I was happy to find a piece of CC that was those type of pianos, because me personally, those are the ones that I've ran into the most. Like, I know those other pianos exist, but I really can't remember a situation where I have ever seen one in person, even when visiting historical sites, because I think a lot of the historical sites that I visited did not have them. Like, it was either like a situation of like the site actually was like not like a super wealthy site, but they still preserved those areas, or but I'm really trying to think if I've ever seen one of those bigger pianos. I'm sure these pianos have like official names. I don't know them, so I'm just gonna keep calling them the grandiose piano and the wall piano. But, part of me feels like I've seen one once, maybe, but I just can't remember if I for surely did, and where that was at. But I know that I've seen the wall ones, so, like, I've seen them multiple times in my life. So, it's sort of sad that they're not, like, just a thing in the game. A lot of people keep speculating over time that eventually we'll get a pack in relation to music. So maybe if they did something like that, that's where they can maybe include the different types of other pianos and stuff out there and different things like that. I think it depends on how they did a music pack. If I would be ultimately, I would probably get it. I even have this stupid Star Wars pack now. I was trying to wait for it to go on like a super sale. But every time I seen it on sale, it wasn't, like, a whole lot. I probably missed it, but, like, I think most of the times it was somewhere around 75 is when I seen it. So, yeah. I was hoping for it for, like, 50 or... Well, not 75 off. Reverse that, 25 off. Woo, brain! But just, like, around the 25 off, so you was paying for about 75% of it. I don't know why my brain got that mixed up, but I was preferring to hopefully see it at like 50 or 75 off. But I feel like it was 50 once, I think, and I missed that opportunity because I think I heard about it. But yeah, I was like, you know what, I kept, like, a lot of the builds that I was looking for that had, like, more of a magical or fantasy vibe, a lot of people were using build items from that pack, so I was like, you know what, let me just go ahead and get it. But that is, like, one of my least favorite packs. I know a lot of people really hate My First Pet stuff, but in some ways, I almost hate the Star Wars one more, because I really feel like the Star Wars one was just more of, like, a publicity thing, like, trying to make money off of the Star Wars name just cause. Which, I mean, part of me does get it, I understand. Sometimes you gotta do stuff to try to bring attention to your game, to bring in new people. But from what I heard from people who actually played it, for those who wasn't used to Star Wars, or didn't really know much about Star Wars, they were absolutely confused, they didn't really enjoy it, and stuff like that. And then, like, the people who was familiar with the franchise also still was getting confused, and didn't think it made much connection or sense. Like, it just really wasn't liked by people from either side of it. Now, don't get me wrong, like, looking at the build and buy items are cool. I really like those. But what they were trying to sell for the game is just like, eh. So, yeah. didn't really care for it much. But that's just me personally. I do know there are a few people out there that actually don't mind it as much. But I was trying to get it on much of a sale, and then I just got tired of waiting, basically. So ultimately, I eventually get all the packs, because Sims 4 is like the first one that I would be able to have the chance to do that, and like that was something I always wanted to do for all the previous Sims. Like I really wanted to have every single expansion for Sims 1, I wanted every single expansion for Sims 2, I wanted every like expansion and stuff pack for 3, so but I couldn't, like, I wasn't using my own money at that point because I didn't really have my own money and I couldn't decide these things for myself, so now with Sims 4, I can do that. So yeah, I'm trying to at least do it once. And I've already decided, once they make Sims 5, and if I'm not as crazy about Sims 5, that I'm not going to go as expansion pack crazy, but at this point, like, I just want to be able to say one of the Sims, I was able to get all the expansions and stuff and things like that. Now we got these kits as well, which I got most of them. I still haven't got 2 of them. But the kits I'm a little less worried about. I'll eventually get the other 2, but we'll get to that whenever. But yeah, what started this whole pack thing is really depends on how they do the musical. If they do a musical pack, how exactly they do it. So like, if they make it a game pack, I really personally, like, they would have to do a whole lot to make it an expansion pack. And now that they're doing refreshes on the game packs, like, at least they have for Spa Day, and from what I understanding, they're planning on doing some refreshes on some others. Really hope Dine Out gets a refresh, because I really like taking my Sims to restaurants and things like that, but it's not always a smooth process, but I still do it because it's something I really like doing for dates and stuff like that, because it just makes sense to go on dates or family outings at restaurants, because that's like one of the most common things you do when you go out with people. You eventually go to a restaurant, and you know, obviously with things how they are, you may not go in, but you at least go get the food. Like, if you could actually pick up food to go, like, that would be annoying to do a loading screen, so I really doubt they would do that. But, like, even if you technically could, like, have a situation where you can use the computer or the phone and click on the restaurants that your Sim technically could visit, and then pick from those restaurants, look at the menu, and pick which foods off the menu you wanted, like, still use the same menu for, like, if they were sitting and dining in, and then your Sim just goes off the lot and then comes back, like, you know, like a rabbit hole situation with the food. That's like them going to go pick it up, like, they ordered it online for pickup. Like, that would be a cool option, like, you know, if they didn't want to cook. You know how many times that me and my boyfriend were, like, sitting there and we're like, we don't want to cook, we don't want to, let's just go get food. Probably not the best thing money-wise, but, you know, whatever. It's fine. With that being considered, I think they're actually trying to make their expansion packs a little bit better, and their game packs better than they were, and stuff like that. So I don't see the music thing making a whole expansion pack unless they went into extreme details with, like, concerts and, like, a tour type situation that your Sim could go on if they were, like, in a band or a singer or something like that. Maybe if they even added, like, it would sort of be fun if you think about adding, like, competitions and stuff like that. So, like, you know, things like what we know as, like, American Idol and The Voice and stuff like that. So, like, if they could try to go on there and do, like, a singing competition and try to win to get, like, money and, like, a huge record deal. So, like, if there was a career that if they expanded on the entertainment career or just made a new career of, like, a singing profession or something like that. And if you won the competition, instead of starting at level 1, you went, like, up to 5 or above. That would be pretty interesting if they did stuff like that. That I could see becoming an expansion pack, but I really don't know if they're gonna do all that. So I feel like if they did anything, it would be most likely a game pack. But I would be pretty okay with it. I do like music and stuff like that, so, like, if they tried to incorporate new ways for music, I will say I wish when it come to, like, the singing skill and, like, you know, technically the musician in the entertainment career, I wish they were a little bit expanded upon and there was a little bit more to them or whatever. So I would definitely be okay and pretty happy with them actually doing some stuff for a music-based pack, but I don't know if they will or not, and if they do, how it's gonna be done. But yeah, we'll just see in the future, see how that goes. That little spew ended up making me go through the whole music room and also the science room. So now we're on to the bathroom, which is going to be ending the video. So with the science room, it's pretty obvious. It has a lot of more scientifical stuff. I put that in there because I do have a few Sims that are either have cybernetic parts or they do have a very wow, that word, brain. I can't pronounce things sometimes, or a lot of times. Anyway, I also have some Sims who are technically artificers, so I could see them technically, like, fooling around down there and stuff like that. So it's just a little fun room to add and just have in there because it makes sense for some of these Sims. But now we are working on this bathroom, and this bathroom will be the end of this video. This video actually won't be as long as I thought it was going to be because I found a few dead spots that I missed while editing beforehand. This is why there's some people that actually don't play back. I've overheard them, like, in their voice logs, how, like, they don't seem to play back the video completely, or, like, they just watched it quickly beforehand and then, like, did, like, a script or wrote it down. Props to you all, but for, like, being able to stick to, like, a script and have it seem a little bit more professional than, like, the ramblings of me. But also, I know when editing that I miss things sometimes, so, like, I try to find ways to try to go back and find it through the editing processes, and I definitely know with speed builds and my creative Sims, I'm more likely to miss parts where I have dead zones and stuff like that, because I'm going too quickly through to try to find them. So doing the voiceover and having it play back as I'm doing the voiceover, so I'm getting the voiceover done, but I'm also giving it a good thorough watch to make sure there's no dead zones. I still feel like I miss some here or there, or there's some that I don't think by the time I get it to the final process, because I speed up the final process just a tad bit. So I'm like, it shouldn't be that bad. So depending, I try to figure out if it's worth actually taking the time to edit it out. But most of them get edited out. Some of them also may be, like, I may be looking for, like, a particular book to quote something, especially on my creative Sims. I try to find, like, if the book falls or I didn't have the book ready or whatever, because sometimes I don't have my life together. A lot of times I don't have my life together. So I might look away from the screen. So there's situations like that where I still probably miss some of the tiny dead zones, but I actually miss some of the big ones in the first editing process. So this voiceover process, I actually can get some of those bigger ones, and I found some of them today. So yeah, it's actually not going to be quite as long as I was thinking it was at the very beginning of this. But anyway, I hope you're liking this build so far. Like usual, please hit the lovely like button if you're enjoying and you're looking forward to the future parts of this build, which is going to be the bedrooms very soon. I think in the next video there's going to be a few more bathrooms to finish up, and then we are heading in to the bedrooms, which I go, like, super detailed with and have a lot of fun. So I hope you're looking forward to that. That will definitely be starting in the next video. At the end of the next video will be Nita's room, and then from that point on, it should be just the bedrooms that we're having fun with and enjoying the lovely build. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next one, but until then, bye bye!